Book Review: Pieces of Home by Becca Neal. Becca Neal's Pieces of Home is a tender, quietly powerful novel that explores the resilience of the human spirit, the complexity of belonging, and the many definitions of home. With graceful prose and a keen emotional intelligence, Neal delivers a moving portrait of lives fractured by circumstance and pieced back together through love, forgiveness, and self-discovery. At its heart, Pieces of Home is a story about reconnection, between family members, between past and present, and ultimately between a woman and herself. The novel opens with 32-year-old Mara Jensen returning to her hometown of Havenbrook after more than a decade away. Her return is prompted by the death of her estranged mother, a woman Mara hasn't spoken to in years and whose passing stirs up a complicated mix of guilt, grief, and resentment. Tasked with sorting through her mother's house, Mara is forced to confront not only the physical remnants of her childhood but the emotional scars that never quite healed. Neal does a masterful job of threading the past into the present, using alternating timelines and evocative flashbacks to slowly reveal the events that led to Mara's departure from Havenbrook. The younger Mara is bright, ambitious, and desperate to escape the suffocating expectations of a small town, and more specifically, her mother, Diane, whose erratic behavior and emotional volatility created an unstable and often painful upbringing. As Mara pieces together her mother's life through forgotten photographs, handwritten notes, and local stories, she begins to see Diane not just as a parent who failed her, but as a woman burdened by her own wounds. This shift in perspective is one of the novel's most poignant achievements. Neal resists the temptation to vilify Diane or to reduce her to a cautionary figure. Instead, she presents a nuanced portrait of a woman caught in a cycle of generational trauma, doing the best she could with the tools she had. Through this compassionate lens, Pieces of Home invites readers to reflect on the way we inherit both pain and strength from those who raise us, and how the stories we tell about our past can change as we gain distance and maturity. Mara's journey is not just about reconciling with her mother's memory, it's also about reclaiming a sense of belonging. As she reconnects with people from her past, her childhood best friend Lizzie, now a teacher and mother of two, Nate, her high school sweetheart turned carpenter, and even her former English teacher, who encouraged her to write, Mara is reminded of the parts of herself she left behind. These characters are more than narrative devices, they are fully realized individuals with their own arcs, lending the novel a lived-in authenticity that enhances its emotional depth. Nate, in particular, is a standout. His easy charm and quiet strength serve as a grounding force for Mara, but Neal is careful not to frame him as a savior. Their relationship is built on mutual understanding, shared history, and the recognition that both have grown and changed in the years apart. There's a sweetness to their rekindled bond that never feels saccharine, and their romance adds a layer of hope to the story without overshadowing its more serious themes. One of the novel's most striking qualities is its sense of place. Havenbrook, with its creaky porches, local diners, and tightly woven community, is rendered with such detail and affection that it becomes a character in its own right. Neal captures the push and pull of small-town life, the safety of familiarity, the weight of gossip, the way secrets linger in the air like smoke. Through Mara's eyes, we see both the charm and the limitations of such a world, and her evolving relationship with Havenbrook mirrors her internal transformation. Stylistically, Neal's prose is both lyrical and restrained, favoring emotional resonance over florid description. Her writing is at its best in quiet, introspective moments, Mara standing in her childhood bedroom, running her fingers over the chipped paint of an old dresser, sitting on the porch steps with Nate, watching the sun dip below the trees. These scenes are imbued with a gentle melancholy that lingers long after the page is turned. There's a subtle poetry in the way Neal captures the everyday, making the ordinary feel sacred. Themes of grief, forgiveness, and identity permeate the novel, but Neal never resorts to melodrama. Instead, she allows emotion to unfold organically, trusting her characters, and her readers, to sit with discomfort and uncertainty. Mara's healing is not linear. She takes 2 steps forward and 1 step back, sometimes stumbling, sometimes soaring. This realistic portrayal of grief and growth is one of the book's greatest strengths. There are no easy answers, no tidy resolutions, only the quiet, persistent effort of rebuilding a life from broken pieces. In addition to its emotional core, Pieces of Home subtly addresses broader societal issues, including mental health, the stigma surrounding single motherhood, and the often invisible labor of caretaking. Diane's struggles with depression and Mara's own anxiety are handled with sensitivity and insight, shedding light on the ways mental illness can strain familial bonds while also offering a pathway toward empathy and understanding. Neil doesn't aim to diagnose or resolve these issues but rather to humanize them, reminding us that behind every difficult person is a story worth hearing. The novel's pacing is deliberate, allowing for a rich accumulation of detail and emotion. Some readers may find the early chapters slow, but this unhurried rhythm ultimately serves the story's emotional arc. By the time Mara begins to find peace, the reader has been on a fully immersive journey, and the catharsis feels earned rather than manufactured. If there is one critique to offer, it's that the subplot involving Mara's potential career change, she's contemplating leaving her job in Boston to pursue freelance writing, could have been more fully developed. While it adds an important layer to her personal evolution, it occasionally feels overshadowed by the more emotionally charged elements of the story. A deeper exploration of Mara's creative aspirations might have further enriched her arc, especially given the novel's emphasis on storytelling and reclaiming one's narrative. Still, this is a minor quibble in an otherwise beautifully crafted novel. Pieces of Home is a quiet triumph, the kind of book that sneaks up on you with its emotional honesty and lingers in your thoughts long after you've finished. Becca Neal has a gift for capturing the complexities of human relationships, and her debut, or latest, depending on your knowledge of her bibliography, announces her as a writer to watch. In a world that often celebrates grand gestures and sweeping drama, Pieces of Home reminds us that some of the most profound transformations happen in small moments. In a shared cup of coffee, a long-forgotten song on the radio, a handwritten note tucked in a drawer. It is a novel that honors the messy, beautiful process of coming home to oneself, and it offers a quietly powerful affirmation that healing is possible, even after years of silence, and that we are more than the sum of our broken parts. For anyone who has ever wrestled with the ghosts of their past, questioned where they belong, or sought to make peace with the people who shaped them, Pieces of Home will resonate deeply. It is a novel of quiet courage and hard-won grace, and it deserves a cherished spot on any bookshelf. Rating: 4.5 out of 5.